Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own little scented slash heat rice bag. I'm going to record this in several steps just so it's easier. So follow the videos labeled 1, 2, 3, etc. You're going to need your fabric. It's the long rectangle piece of fabric that you'll have in your craft kit, the small square piece, your bird template that should be on one of the instruction sheets or the watercolour how-to sheet. And then in your starter kit you'll have a needle and some thread, and you should have some scissors as well. So first off, you're going to find your little bird template that I will have drawn within your kit. You're going to cut it out of paper, and you're going to place it on your small square piece of fabric. Now, you might have a plain piece of fabric, you might have patterned. There was a variety put in each craft kit, so just find the one that you want or that you want to use, or you could use the other side because you're only going to need half of this, but you can make 2 bags out of this fabric. So you can either choose to do 2 bags because you only need half of it, or choose to use the whole lot. You're going to place your bird template onto your small piece of square fabric, and then you're just going to cut around it. You might need to do this quite slowly. You could always pin this in place on top of your fabric to cut around it easier. You could either hold it in place and cut round, or you could draw in pencil around your bird and then cut out, whichever's easiest. I held it down and just cut it, but some of you might like to draw around it like this. Do you see? And then you can just see the pencil mark. And if you go all the way around the bird, then you have a nice pencil mark that you can cut out. And this is one I did earlier. Right, and then you've got your long rectangle piece of fabric that's folded over. It's actually a giant square, but you're going to want to fold it over. What you're going to want to do is you've got one side that is quite clear and crisp, and then you've got another side that is faded. The faded side is the inside of your bag. This is called the right side of your piece of fabric. So it's the clear pattern that you want on the outside is called the right side. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold your square piece of fabric in half like this, but you want the right side touching the right side. So you've got the clear facing the clear, because at the end we're going to turn it inside out. And you're just going to roughly press it down and fold it. So you've got one edge already. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut this in half. So you want a square piece of fabric basically. So you're going to cut this in half. And then what you'll have is you'll have one side that is already closed and 3 open sides. So cut that in half, like so. You might want to hold it down. You've got your square piece of fabric that was folded over. You're actually now just going to open it, and you're going to place your little bird cut out fabric wherever you want on half of the square piece. So if you imagine the bags, you're basically going to have it like this, and you're going to sew around it. So you only want to put your bird in the top half of the fabric. You want to put it on the right side, and then you're going to thread your needle if you can, and then you should have thread in your starter kit, and you'll basically want to just cut some thread. And what you're going to do is you're now just going to running stitch around the outside of your bird, not on the edge because it will slip off, but just inside, just to give it a bit of an outline. I've actually chosen a blue because I want it to contrast and it to look nice. So you don't want it folded over at this point, otherwise you'll sew the 2 pieces together. You just want the bird on this bit. Thread it through. Oh, other side. That was my mistake. because obviously you want that on the inside of your bag. And if you tie a knot on the end, it won't slip through. So that's what I'm going to do just now. There we go, tie a knot on the end and it shouldn't slip through. And then I'm just going to running stitch as best I can around the outside of the bird. And you can choose to do your running stitch with little gaps or big gaps, however you fancy doing it. I'm sorry if the video is a little bit blurred. I'm finding it quite hard to make it focus while I'm trying to stitch and do the video. And yeah, you just running stitch all the way around the outside of the bird. And I'll show you what that should look like in a second in the next video. When you get to the back, once you finish sewing all the way around your bird, just tie off the loose ends with a knot, several knots. There you go. And then you've got your bird this side. Okay, now what you're going to do is you've got your rectangle, you've sewn your bird on. You might need to or want to iron it a little bit. I quite like mine a little bit. It looks a bit handmade. I quite like that. You're going to refold your long rectangle piece of fabric in half again on itself. So you want the right side matching the right side, because you'll turn it inside out at the end. So wherever you've sewn the bird on your right side, this is the outside. You're going to fold it in half so that it's on the inside of your square. Press it down. You've already got one folded edge here. What you're going to do is you're actually going to, again, you can just use a running stitch. If you have a sewing machine, you can use that as well, but most of you will just want a needle and thread. You're going to sew around down this edge and that edge. So you don't want to sew the top just yet. You just want to sew up this edge and up that edge. If you haven't got a fold here because you've accidentally cut it, that's okay, sew that edge as well. So basically you want 3 closed edges on your square and 1 open edge. And once you've sewn those 3, excellent, you should now have 3 of your sides of your square closed off, whether that's by a fold or you've just running stitched up each side. Remember to tie off each end. Now we're going to make the top look a little bit nicer. So you should have left like a little bit of gap here. If not, no worries, just fold it over anyway. So we're going to fold over the top a little bit like this, maybe like a centimetre or so. Now you're not going to sew each side together, you want to leave it open because we want a little pouch to put stuff in. But this is just to make the top a little bit neater. So you're going to fold it over a little bit, and then what you're going to do is you're going to running stitch down this side just so that you've got a nice folded edge on the top of your bag. So I'm going to start from this side. Remember to tie it off or put a knot in it to begin with. Whoops, not like I've just done. Remember to put a knot in it. And then you're just going to running stitch. Do you see I'm putting my hand inside the bag to stop it from sewing it to the other edge of